I'm smoking a Dutch in this video. And this video is mainly going to be predicated on my politics and just the way I feel our system should be maintained, governed, and ran, I should say. I consider myself a progressive democratic socialist, mainly because I almost believe that everything in America should be socialized, not just healthcare and having an affordable education and things of that nature, and also guaranteeing everybody a job, but just socializing everything in the terms of making sure that everyone's okay and straight, and that no one has to worry about anything, because what our politicians and a lot of people are underestimating is automation is coming and it's going to take all of our jobs. Artificial intelligence is real. That's real. Technology that can think on its own, think better than you. So essentially it's going to replace you. So yeah, I believe in socializing damn near everything to make sure that everyone's okay, because I see it this way. Poverty should not exist, and at the same time, people, I'm not gonna say billionaires shouldn't exist. Bernie says that, but I think he's joking when he says that, because his plans don't actually just eliminate them. Yeah, it does take a chunk of their $1 billion, I should say, and they will notice, but it'll just be a difference in terms of the $1 billion, I should say. Not too much of a humongous difference. What true socialism would look like is eliminating poverty and eliminating the upper class. Not necessarily in terms of a lifestyle, but just in terms of an income bracket, because most of them, including Jeff Bezos, said himself, he couldn't spend all of his money even if he wanted to. So therefore, just eliminate that billionth, because if they're not gonna touch that anyway, simply invest it into the economy and to the society so everyone can benefit from it. And do that with each wealthy person in each big corporation and business. You have a habitable society. So in terms of hardcore democratic socialism, hardcore leftist politics, you would have everyone guaranteed a job and universal basic income all together in one system, and socialized medicine and other socialized benefits that will be at the disposal of every single American. That's what the ideal society should look like. Automation and technology and artificial intelligence are going to take everyone's jobs. That is coming. That is inevitable. It's already taken a plethora of people's jobs, leaving all of them with rancor taste in their mouth. It's going to essentially create this impervious notion to going into an upper class working job. That will no longer be accessible. So therefore, a habitable society must ensure that there's a safety net among the masses, because if there's not a safety net among the masses, what scares me is that if our country isn't ready for that, then among the masses, you'll have essentially a huge, humongous transfer of people within an income sector, not for the good, but for the worse, because they're not gonna be making what they once made, because they're gonna be displaced with their jobs. So therefore, they're gonna be shot down the economic bracket, which creates more income and wealth inequality and poverty. We have to eliminate poverty. Simply doing nothing will not make the situation better. It's only going to exacerbate it. So therefore, there has to be some type of socialized country and socialized safety nets put in place to ensure that the masses, the people, are okay and can truly benefit. When Martin Luther King started talking about universal basic income, essentially helping black and white people, not just poor black people in the South, but as he started to tour the country and go around the country and go into the North in places such as Cicero, Illinois, and upstate New York, he really got to see poverty among color lines and how it transcends color lines, I should say. Poor white people, they're the same as us. And that's what he got from that. That's what he got from that at the time, which is relatively true. That's true, it's the truth. So he proposed universal basic income to essentially stimulate, not to provide as a primary source of income, but to stimulate poor people so that they can do something, stimulate them so they can get up and actually make something of themselves and actually maybe invest in themselves or whatever it is that they're passionate about and produce something of wealth themselves. Which is why, yes, capitalism will somewhat always exist because people will always find ways to accumulate wealth. That's the whole idea of, how can I put it, the American dream. So therefore, capitalism will always exist in that sense. People will always create businesses, corporations, things of that nature that will make money, whatever, or invent things, entrepreneurship. And that's essentially what universal basic income would feed into. In terms of a democratic socialism system, capitalism will have to coexist. And I know that frustrates a lot of people on the hardcore left. But if you want to move into a command economy, then just say that. But that'll be the only way that you can just completely get rid of capitalism. To my folks that are just not necessarily Marxist, but on, I'll put it candidly, very candidly and lightly, on a command economy type of mainframe socialism, true hardcore socialist. I consider myself a socialist, but those are what I like to call command economy style type of socialist. And I'll put it candidly and lightly like that. And to be fair and to be quite clear, Bernie Sanders, he's not just a real socialist or merely even a democratic socialist. Actually, he's in the middle in terms of politics in the United States. He just is, he's the closest near to me in terms of my political spectrum, which is why I support him so heavily. But he himself is not a democratic socialist. He is really, I'll put it like this, he's a progressive that believes in capitalism, but he's mainly a hardcore leftist progressive. Elizabeth Warren is a capitalist like Barack Obama that just wants to maintain the system, but in an intellectual way that will somewhat advance us towards what Bernie Sanders wants to do. Bernie Sanders just wants to cut to the chase and do it, which is why I support him so heavily. But even he isn't as far as my leftist politics, so I'll probably say I'm to the left of him. There are many people in the United States that are really to the left of me and hardcore left. How many people and how many of them are there, I don't really know, but with this Generation Z, I believe it's more than what we possibly suspect. So that's how you get democratic socialism, advancing the principles of democratic democracy within a republic, within the commands of a bureaucracy, in which, assuming a democratic socialistic president would occupy, using those bureaucracies and institutions to truly socialize the masses, which would feed into capitalism, which helps capitalism coexist with socialism, which in my mind makes democratic socialism.